How you going, guys? Oscar here. Today I want to make a video called "The Raw Truth," and just want to really express just a random talk on, just what I'm feeling at the moment, and just want to kind of, you know, um, deliver some powerful information. Now, let's get straight into it. Okay, so the raw truth. What does that mean? It just means that you know the bottom line is that we have been given this amazing life, and there's no questioning that, life is an amazing thing that's beyond comprehension. Um, now, we didn't really, have a choice in the matter, well, although it seems that way. It's just something that we're brought into existence, and, the older we get, the wiser we become, but get to a certain point where we start to ask ourselves the bigger questions, and maybe we can, formulate or kind of, come to a conclusion and put all the pieces together and kind of work out the mechanisms of, life and spirit. So spirit, what is spirit? I mean, we've been given this amazing, gift called the body, the human body. So we've been given life, then to experience life, we need a body. Now, when we stare at ourselves in the mirror, we see the body as one unit, okay, which is fine. Which is, I mean, that's what we're identified with is our body, and we're identified with our name, John Smith or Sarah Michelle or whatnot. And we get so caught up, in these identifications of our name and the way we look and the role we play, and everyone around us validates our roles, our name, who we are, and it's just really just a concept, an idea that is just definitions, limitations on what the truth, the raw truth, really is, right? So we get so caught up in these projections, these ideas that, you know, I am the person I see in the mirror, and every time you look in the mirror, you reinforce that person, reinforce that identity, that it becomes such a strong mental position that the bonds and the attachments to these concepts, these projections are so difficult to break. Sometimes you can't even talk to people that are so attached to these ideas and who they think they are. You just can't. And some people just there's no reasoning with. Their beliefs are so concrete that it's just that's just the way they are, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're all going to get to a point where we're going to ask ourselves a big question. If not in this lifetime, maybe in another life. Who knows? But beyond the body, there's an animation. No one can doubt that the body needs something to animate the body, and this animation, this energy, this divine spark, we can call it spirit. You know. Now, I'm not going to get too technical on these spiritual terms, but there is an energy within you called spirit. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe in that word or not, it doesn't even matter, but there is an animation. It's electrical, it's magnetic. It's the electric magnetic energy that you emit. And we have advanced instruments of science that can measure that, called your aura, your chi. Your central nervous system is pumping out electrical impulses, and that is pretty much what spirit is. That's a relationship spirit has with the body in order for you to experience this reality. Now, the closest, science that we have today is called quantum physics to spirit or consciousness. And it's Max Planck, the father of quantum physics, that said, I quote, all matter originates and exists only by a virtue of a force. We must assume behind this force the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This is the mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter. Unquote. So quantum physics is a very, very fascinating subject, which, I'm no expert in, but I do know a little bit about it. And it's fascinating because it's so mysterious that not even the most advanced physicists can answer such questions of what is consciousness, what is energy. And if you go on the internet and you type in what is energy, what is consciousness, you're not going to get one answer. It's a mathematical equation that cannot be broken. It cannot be observed. They cannot. It can't even be put down into numbers or an equation because it's so infinite. It's so infinite that it's just mysterious. We can only have these theories, but nothing in science can truly observe it apart from quantum physics. And quantum physics can only observe electrons and quarks and these particles that kind of are the building blocks of the universe. But nothing's actually saying this is spirit or this is consciousness. But we know that right down, if we look deep enough into the micro world, that we're all connected through atoms. We're all connected through this energy that is vibrating. And behind this vibration is an intelligent mind, and that's what Max Planck was talking about. There's this existence of this. It must be conscious, and I'll tell you why it must be conscious, because you look at yourself in the mirror and you're identified with this person, you've established that, and you get caught up in these roles and these virtual lives. I'm a lawyer, I'm a student, I'm a mum, I'm a dad, I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, and you go out and you live these virtual lives and you get caught up in society, in your nice house and your nice car and these materialistic things and these bank accounts. You're thinking you're going to live forever, and then boom, reality checks in and there's an emptiness within you that you just can't feel, and when you're looking at yourself in the mirror as a single unit, as I mentioned before, that's merely just an illusion. And I'll tell you why it's an illusion, because you have skin cells. You have literally trillions of skin cells. And if you go look deeper into the skin cells, you've got blood cells and you've got all the cells that make up your organs. But really, you're made up of hundreds of millions of trillions of cells. It's an infinite number that I can't even no one even knows how many trillions of cells you're made out of, but it is a big number beyond comprehension. So really, you're not one unit, you're trillions of cells living in a community. Excuse me, I'm a little bit sick. Anyway, so you've got all these cells that make up your body. And if you look deeper into a cell, you've got the nucleus, you've got, the DNA, you've got your genes, you've got RNA, you've got proteins, you've got chromosomes, you've got all these technical jargon that, let's face it, for most of us, we don't really care. For most of us, we're not really going to research to find out more. And it doesn't really mean anything. I can sit here and throw all these technical words and make myself sound smart, but really, the bottom line is that you have a sophisticated unit of cells that somehow communicate with one another, that are in synchronicity or that are in sync for your body to work in harmony. Like there's a certain understanding between all the cells and your breath and your heartbeat and your blood and your digestion and when you eat and your metabolism and all that kind of stuff, that there's a community kind of works together. Now, when I started researching cells and, I started looking deep into cells and started researching the work by Bruce Lipton, I was so amazed. My mind was blown, because inside a cell is so sophisticated. I mean, it is so advanced that the most advanced technology today would not even come close to the level of sophistication one single cell has. I mean, these things are so intelligent and they communicate so rapidly, so instant within one another to signal, different behaviors and patterns in the body and different functions, that it's beyond comprehension. The mathematical instructions involved are so intricate, so complex, so, beyond what we can understand with our level of mind, that my mind was blown. I was like, wow, everyone should know this, because you are made out of these cells. Your body is so intelligent, and that's what Max Planck was saying. What is giving the instructions to these cells? Well, where is the blueprint? What is signaling that there must be a force, your body just, once you get to a certain level of awareness, you just understand your body just can't work so intelligently, that there is something beyond, that beyond the physical, beyond all matter, that that's, scientists have a fancy name for it called the quantum field, the 0 point field, or the matrix. It has many different labels, but um, it's so intelligent, that's so instructive, that we have no idea, absolutely no idea, that the level of sophistication. Now, your cells, I'm not going to go into exactly how they operate. You can do your own research. There's plenty of information out there. But, I really recommend that you do study a little bit of biology and how your cells work, which your mind will be blown. And this is what you're made out of, this intelligent force that is governing your body. And that's why it's so important to look after your body through nutrition, exercise. We all know these things. Some of us take it seriously, some don't, but that's entirely up to you. But once you start to see the sophistication of these cells, you want to look after them. You start to see there's a connection, and why some people live these healthy lifestyles, and why it's so important, because cells are alive. They have to be alive because you're alive, and you have a digestive, respiratory, you have a reproductive, you have an endocrine system, you have all these different systems in your body, hormonal systems that a cell has as well. A cell is very much a lot. Just one little cell has the same level same level of, how do I put it into words? Same level of sophistication as your human body. From the macro, from the larger scale to the minute, it's pretty much the same, and it's amazing because you're made up of all these cells. Now, behind these cells is this amazing force. You have no idea what it is. So, wouldn't you like to get out the way so this force can take over your life? Absolutely. As Joe Dispenza puts it, we are riding on the back of a giant. We just got to figure out how to let it take over. And that's why these people that miraculously heal themselves, a subject called spontaneous remissions, people that get cancer, people that get, certain diseases, they miraculously heal, and doctors have no idea. And it's because they have mentally moved out the way, right? They're not trying to understand it. They're not trying to, help themselves. They're just letting this intelligent force that's within all of us, take over and heal them. And, I'm not going to go into exactly how they did it. That I could say that for another video, but you have this divine intelligent force within you. It's a fact. You do enough research, you'll come to that conclusion. But you don't need to do all that research, because I've done it for you, and I'm telling you the raw truth is you have this intelligent force. You just got to learn how to tap into it. And where it becomes difficult, where the firewall is, and a firewall is just a computer term for, a big barrier, is that we try to understand it on a mental level. We get very intellectual. We try to conceptualize. We try to verbalize. And fact, there are things in this life and universe that the human brain was not designed to understand. We're not going to understand. Trying to understand it just limits or restricts the true meaning. This is something that is innate. This is something that you got to feel. It's on an emotional level. It's on an energetical level. You are energized. Every cell is alive. You need to feel that energy, and you got to let it vibrate. Everything is vibration. Okay? You go deep within the cell, into the atoms, into, the nucleus, into the subnuclear, into the quarks, and below the quarks into gluons, I think is another technical term for just energy. Is energy vibrating. And that's what you're made out of. You are made out of vibration, a molecular structure called the human body, made out of all these molecules bonded together that give you these physical appearance called the human body. All these cells that are governed by, this virtue of a force, as Max Planck puts it. And behind it all is this vibration. And once you can connect to that vibration, and this is what Eckhart Tolle talks about in his books, like you got to connect to the wisdom of the body. You got to connect to the body. All you have to do is channel your attention. So you've got this amazing thing called attention. And I don't think people realize how powerful attention is. Where attention goes, energy flows, right? Now, you've got this brain, it's called the instrument, and it's designed to process information, but you can't stop thinking because that's what the brain is designed to do. You don't try to make the brain stop. That's what it does. Now, the brain needs attention for it to work. Attention is like a focused streamline of energy coming out of your spirit. It's like a spotlight. It's like a light beam, right? Once you channel it or focus it into the mind, into the brain, it becomes the mind. And all these electrical impulses are going crazy, and all these thought processes and all these circuitry systems in your brain start to fire in certain sequences, and we get consumed, you know. Excuse me. We've been thinking for so long and identified with this instrument, with this brain, with this mind, that it's become like automatic. We've become addicted to it. I can't stop eating, I can't stop drinking, I can't stop thinking, as Eckhart would say. You are addicted to thinking, and within, and that's what this control system is designed to do. It's really beautifully designed, because you're not really designed to figure it all out. It's a challenge. It is like if it was easy, then people would come and they'd become enlightened. So whatever that word means, but it's just another concept, and they'd figure it out, right? But it's not designed that way. It's designed to be very, very difficult. And for some of us, we don't even care. For others, we start to question the big questions of life, and we come to a point and we're trying to figure it out, and there's all this information out there, and we filter through all this information. But at the end of the day, there is only one master. There is only one truth, and it is expressed in different ways. And that's what religion is. It's just basically it's all different stairways leading to the one creator, right? But not, it's subjective. Now, this attention is very powerful. If you can put your attention in other people, you can put it in this video or my words. You can put it when you're driving, on the road. You can put it when you're reading a book. You can put it into your mind, and you can go back in time. You can project into the future, and it does all these. I mean, it's you have the ability to navigate through different layers of the brain. If you want to download information from the past, if you want to project and build new concepts and models for the future, it's all done through attention, really. Like but your attention is only aware of so much. I think the brain processes over 400 million or billion bits of information, but we're only aware of 2,000, something like that. And that's where your attention is. If your attention isn't on something, then you're not going to be aware of it. Now, when you channel your attention and you understand that you can channel your attention into the body, and you start to feel the sensation of the body, your breath, you can start becoming really, really, really anchored into the now, the present. Now, we process so much information at one time that gives us this experience, but it's coming in at a certain speed, and I think it's 1/millionth or billionth or some phenomenal number to the speed of light. So it's so fast, but it's so fast that it's still coming in at a certain speed, right? If your attention, if you can channel in to that void where the gap, where the information is coming in, but it's coming in to be processed within this intricate process of information coming in through your senses, vibrational information, which is getting decoded and then projected out into our experience. Within all this process, this advanced mechanism, there is a certain void. There is a certain gap, and it's so minute because the information is coming in so fast that once we start to slow down, and we start to channel our intention into the body, our vibration starts to increase. It's a fact. Anyone that meditates, that can stay committed and pierce the layers of mind conditioning thought process, because you know what, we have so much programmed beliefs that when we meditate, and we've been, like I said, we're so identified into thinking that it's become automatic, that as soon as you try to meditate and channel your attention to the body, the gravitational pull, let me tell you, is so strong that you're back into the mind, consumed into thought process, and the avalanche of thinking has just taken over again. Before you know it, all these unsettled energies, bubble up to the surface, and you feel edgy, you feel restless, and you question, well, what am I doing? Because there's a chemical imbalance. The chemicals in your body, you know, they start to go into a panic mode because you've never done this before. That's why you got to really stay committed. And I'm not going to go into exactly the physiological response that happens in the body, but in another video I will explain it on a deeper level. But the bottom line is there's a certain gravitational pull. But once you stay committed and you pierce through and you've got perseverance, you're going to get to a point where you can feel the body. And once you start to feel the body, every cell, your cells are hanging for your attention, as Eckhart would say. And once you start to give it attention, you start to give it a life, and they start to vibrate in your immune system and your digestive system, and in fact every system in your body, your endocrine system, and stress is eliminated. There are parts of the brain that are responsible for stress that just shrink. 95% of diseases are stress related. If you start to meditate, your stress levels will come down. People get cancer, they get diseases through either bad diet, lack of exercise, too much thinking, which is a symptom of stress. Okay. Now, I'm very passionate about stress. You can listen to my video on stress management. But once we understand how to relax, and watching TV is not relaxing, we start to calm the body down and bring it back into balance, homeostasis. And that happens, a natural harmony. Your hormones come back into balance. There's a natural order that takes place in the body, and you will become so present in alignment with your own true essence, your spirit. That's when the intelligent force takes over, because you're no longer thinking, your attention is no longer in everything, and you're no longer consumed. You're just opening yourself up, your channels up within you. The attention's going in, and then this vibration takes over, and that's when magical things happen. And believe me, it might take months, it might take years, but if you stick to it, you are going to get the dividends. And look, that's all I'm going to say today. And for those people that are listening and that are just new to all this information, I try to really keep it simple. And look, throughout these videos, what I want to do is, it's difficult. I mean, when you work 9 to 5 and you got to pay bills, this control system has made it so difficult for you to go out there and learn a higher truth. Believe me, it's only because I've had spare time, and I've had the drive, to keep studying, to keep researching, that I've peeled away all these different levels of information, and I've come down to the fundamental truth. But the fundamental truth, it's you got to understand there's all different aspects. You got to understand how the brain works, the biology works. You got to understand all these different aspects, and even then, it's even simpler than that. But in my opinion, once you start to understand how the brain works, the body works, how your cells work, once you start to understand what stress is and all these things, once you start to link all these things together, neurologically, you start to develop the brain, you start to become more aware, more educated, and you start to become, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So if I can get all this information that I've, put hundreds and hundreds and thousands of hours into, and put them into a small video, and even if you take something little away from that, and you share that with someone, then you know what, I'm more than happy with that. And I just feel like I just want to put out positive words and hope that people can absorb it. So by saying that, thanks for listening.